guys, I'm back and it has been a couple of weeks since I last posted and I don't really have an excuse for that other than I've been really busy with work, traveling, etc. So don't worry though, I'm still here, and if you do miss me, you can always find me on Instagram at Logic vs Luxury. I try to post over there at least every day in my stories. Sort of, I try. So definitely join me on Instagram if you haven't yet. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a more traditional kind of sit-down review video, and I have 4 different overnight sleeping masks to review. And essentially these masks, these are basically, you know, glorified moisturizers, if I'm being quite honest. It's just another way for companies to market to you and sell a new product to you when really all they are just moisturizers. So do you need one in your routine? Absolutely not. If you are on a budget, I would say don't watch this video, go watch something else. But if you are like me and enjoy kind of doing some fancy stuff in your skincare every now and then, you know, you can keep watching and see how I like these 4 sleeping masks. Before I get into it, just a little bit about my skin. I have oily to combo skin, which it used to be just purely oily, but as I've gotten older, it's become more and more dry. So now I would say I have oily combo skin, and particularly in the winter, it is very dehydrated just because the air is so dry. So especially around like the cheeks, around the nose, that area can be quite dry. If you saw my last video in New York, I was suffering from some serious winter dry skin, and yeah, that's the skin situation. I also don't have very sensitive skin, so if you have very sensitive skin, you know, some of these products that I'm going to be talking about, it's a chance that you might not like them for whatever reason, but I honestly, my skin doesn't typically have any sensitivity reactions, and it also doesn't really get acne from products, so I'm lucky in that way. So like I said, I'll be reviewing 4 sleeping masks and 1 lip mask. And although this video is not sponsored, as in no one is paying me to talk about any of these products, I did receive these products generously from YesStyle.com. So if you don't know about them, they're just an online e-tailer, and they have everything Korean, including fashion, skincare, beauty, etc. So just kind of an overwhelming selection over on YesStyle. I will also be linking to all of the products I talk about in the description box below. If you were wondering, I do use affiliate links. I disclose this in the description boxes of all my videos where I do use it, and you know, I'm not trying to hide anything. So although YouTube is fun and enjoyable for me to make, let's get real here, money certainly doesn't hurt. So thank you so much if you want to go use those links, but if you don't want to for whatever reason, you know, just search the products on your own. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the products themselves. First up is the highly popular LaNeige Water Sleeping Mask. And this is, I just have a little sample of this. So the actual one is definitely much bigger than this. It comes in at around $25 for, you know, 2.3 ounces. So a little bit bigger than your typical moisturizer jar, which is usually like around the 1.7 ounce mark in the US. I feel like this product is one of the main products that kind of got this whole sleeping mask thing on a tear. And, you know, genius. Good for you, LaNeige. So texturally speaking, this product is very similar to all other water gel moisturizers. I have another video where I review 5 different water gel moisturizers very in depth, so you can go check that out if you were curious about those. They're great for oily or oily combo skin people. And like I said, very similar to all of those, in particular the Clinique Moisture Surge. Like all water gel moisturizers that I've used in the past, it is also very, very lightweight and is absorbed very quickly into the skin, leaving a slight wet, kind of dewy finish. If you give this a few minutes, it'll dry down and you won't barely notice it at all. It is lightly fragranced, so if you are sensitive to scents, this is something that you'll not want to consider at all. It is a very, very light fragrance, like I said, so even though I typically don't like fragranced products, fragrance doesn't actually cause my skin to have any reactions, so it's just really a preference on, you know, if it's a good fragrance, then okay, fine, I'm fine with it. And in this case, this is a pleasant, light fragrance. In terms of ingredients, it's your standard mix of kind of humectants and occlusives. So again, things to get your skin moisturized, and then occlusives to kind of lock all of that in. They do have a couple of star ingredients they like to talk about in their marketing, one of which is called Sleep Talks. It's something that they've actually trademarked, and it's just a combo of apricot and evening primrose root extract. These extracts aren't necessarily scientifically proven to have any particular benefit for the skin, but anecdotally they're supposed to be very soothing, and I do attest that this is a very soothing product, like most water gel moisturizers. Also, there is ascorbyl glucoside in here, which is a form of vitamin C that's not as potent and as just pure ascorbic acid, but it is a much more stable form. And finally, if you're curious about preservatives, this is paraben-free, but it does have phenoxyethanol kind of at the very bottom of the ingredients list. In general, I do enjoy water gel moisturizers, and if you haven't ever used one before or you don't have one in your routine at all, this could be a nice option to use on occasion as that evening mask. I mean, honestly, if you used it every day, it would be fine too. I don't find it to be very, like I said, heavy. It's a very lightweight product, and it does seem to do a nice job of sealing everything in and keeping your skin moisturized over the course of the evening. If you have a very dry skin though, and you're looking for something like this, I would say this is probably not going to cut it for you, and I would opt for something that's a little bit more creamy. So great for oily skin types, and just a nice kind of like entry-level sleeping overnight mask. I would give this a 3 out of 5 because it's a solid option, but nothing was particularly enticing to me, especially because it is very similar to just all of the other water gels that I've tried in the past. Next up, I have the CosRX Ultimate Nourishing Rice Overnight Spa Mask. So this comes in a package, a tube of around 2 fluid ounces for around $14 to $20. Different websites have it at different prices. YesStyle does have this as low as $14 that I last saw. So CosRX is one of those kind of everyman type of brands. It's a very no frills, no fuss, no muss kind of brand. They focus on the ingredients. In a lot of ways, I would say it's like very similar. It's like the Korean version even of something like The Ordinary. One of their most popular products is a low pH cleanser. I have personally never tried that cleanser, but I have been using the CosRX Snail Mucin Serum for a long time, so that is something that I am familiar from this brand. As for this rice mask, it is a light, medium weight kind of cream that also sinks in very quickly with a dewy finish. It used to come in a jar, and they've recently changed it to come in a tube, which although is not as luxurious to use, it is certainly more hygienic, so I actually prefer this in a tube, and it's also much easier to travel with. This product has no added fragrance, and to me it's unscented. Maybe it has a very, very light scent, but honestly it's hard to tell. If you have a very sensitive nose, maybe you can smell it, but there is no added fragrance, so at least from the ingredients perspective, it's not going to be causing sensitivity on your skin. In terms of ingredients, this formula is quite simple. There isn't a very long ingredients list, but the star of the show is the first ingredient, which is the rice extract at 65%. Now, there isn't a lot to say about rice extract in general, as it is one of those products that is not extensively reviewed in the scientific community, but anecdotally this is an ingredient that is very popular in Asian and Korean skincare and is supposed to have a lot of great benefits, like moisturizing. This formula also does contain niacinamide, arginine, and a few different antioxidants, so if nothing else, at least it does have some of those anti-aging and brightening properties in the formula list. Overall, I would give this a 4 out of 5. I am interested in the ingredients and curious about this rice extract, even though, again, it's not something that is very scientifically proven. I personally haven't seen anything using it in the short amount of time that I have had it, so I can't speak on that. However, just in terms of how it goes on and my feeling overnight in using this, it's pleasant. I would say I like the texture. It's a very lightweight cream, and it feels nice. It feels nice on the skin. Again, if you have drier skin, I would say this is not going to provide you the nourishment that you probably are looking for, so there are definitely other options out there. Number 3 is another product from CosRX, and this is the Ultimate Moisturizing Honey Overnight Mask. And this also comes in a 2 fluid ounce container for around the $14 to $20 price range. Now, obviously, these two products are very similar in the way they look and in the way they're marketed. So the difference with the honey, of course, is the ingredients, but and also the texture. The main star attraction in this one, in contrast to the rice one, is that it is featuring propolis extract. So propolis is basically another thing that bees create. They make honey and they also make propolis, which is kind of a mixture of tree sap and beeswax. And propolis, like honey, is also supposed to have very good antibacterial, antifungal kind of properties. So those are great for acne-prone skin. When it first came out of the tube, I thought it looked very much like honey. It is a very honey-like gel, and I expected it to be sticky, but actually it's not. I mean, good, right? You wouldn't want a sticky face product. Again, it is lightweight. The finish versus the rice mask is that it is not as fast absorbing, but it feels a bit wetter, if that makes any sense. It also is unscented, and honestly, it's not my favorite texture. I mean, after a few minutes, it does dry, and you wouldn't really notice a difference between this and the rice mask, but just the actual application itself and the fact that it's not as fast absorbing, it's not my favorite. In terms of ingredients, as mentioned, this propolis is the main thing. Other than that, though, it also has arginine like the rice mask, but there's, not a ton else. There is also some beeswax in here, which is a kind of nice natural occlusive. If you're worried about that, I wouldn't be too stressed because it is very far down on the ingredients list. Overall, I'd give this a 3.5 out of 5. I am no longer in that point in my life where I'm struggling with acne. I mean, outside of the occasional 1 or 2. So an acne kind of beneficial type of overnight mask is not something that I'm going to be necessarily needing. And as I said, I don't really like the texture of this. So in comparison of between these two, for sure, I go for the rice one. It has more anti-aging ingredients and it's more pleasant for me to use. That being said, this is still a nice, interesting product. And if you do suffer from acne, it's worth checking out, and let me know how it goes. All right, the last night mask that I have is something that I've mentioned in a previous video, and it is the Patchology Cloudmasque, and this is pricey. This is $40 for a little 1 ounce jar. So if we were to make this the same size as the other products I've shown you, it would be about 4 times the price as one of those CosRX products. So definitely not for those who are budget conscious. It is a super luxurious whipped cream kind of texture, and it is incredibly rich on the skin. It feels, kind of lightweight because it is whipped, but when you put it on, you can definitely tell it is quite nourishing, creamy, and it's definitely a heavier cream. It's not the heaviest, but it is up there. It is lightly scented, so it has like a very natural kind of jasmine floral scent. In contrast with the LaNeige, the LaNeige has, I would say, a more artificial kind of slightly sweet scent, whereas this one is a very natural scent. As I said before, I generally don't like fragranced products. However, in these cases, both of these, the LaNeige and the Patchology, they smell really nice and they're very, very light scents. So at least for me, I didn't find it too bothersome, and I don't, like I said, react negatively from an ingredients perspective to fragrance. Speaking of ingredients, this Patchology has a super long ingredients list. It starts off with your kind of general water, humectants, occlusives, etc. But then it goes on and includes things like, hang on, I have to look at my notes here. It has retinol, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, a lot of different peptide complexes, panthenol, a bunch of different extracts, moringa oil. I mean, it's a really long ingredients list. And in some ways I get a bit wary when I find products that have really long lists because, less is more, right? And I definitely was a bit wary when I put this on the first time. However, I'm happy to report that it had no negative effects on my skin, except that it just felt very nourishing and rich. It's honestly a really nice product. For those with oily skin also, you might find this to be a little bit heavy. I really like it, especially because it is just an overnight mask, and I'm looking for something heavier when I'm reaching for something like this. So although it has 2 things I generally dislike in creams, 1 being that it's in a jar and 2 that it is scented, in this case, I have to say I do like this product. So 4.5 out of 5. The big drawback for me here is really just the price, and if price isn't a factor for you, by all means, give this a try. I think you will really like it. Okay, last little bonus product, and that is the LaNeige Lip Sleeping Mask in Grapefruit. Now this little lip sleeping mask is $20, and it is quite a lot of product for a lips product. Does not say on this container exactly how many ounces it is, so I will put it up on the screen somewhere. Don't mind me, it smells really good. But I give this a 3.5 out of 5. The extra 0.5 is actually just for this little spatula that comes with it. It is an awesome little silicone spatula, which like, it's perfect. It's perfect for applying to lips, and honestly, like, I'm sick of those little plastic spoons. Give me more of these like little silicone ones. They're great, and you can definitely dig in and get all the last remnants of your jars using something like this. But okay, that aside, solid product, but it's nothing that is too spectacular, I would say. I did not put this on at night and wake up with miraculously unchapped, fully nourished lips. That said, it's still pleasant to use, and I love the scent, and even though it's an overnight lip sleeping mask, I'm using it in the daytime right now, and it's perfectly fine. So yeah, it's a solid lip balm, but nothing special, I would say. So 3.5 out of 5, and that is it for this video. If you have used some overnight sleeping masks or use it in your routine, what do you think of them? Do you think they are very beneficial versus just, you know, loading up on regular moisturizer? How do you like to use them? I just enjoy the ritual of it, but I'd love to hear what you think about sleeping masks, or if you've used other ones that you think are better. I'd love to hear about it. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!